pie dough is surprisingly versatile for both sweet and savory applications. In pastry, it's obviously used for pies, but it's also utilized for lemon bars, turnovers, and anything else you can wrap in dough. It also has its savory uses like chicken pot pie and spinach turnovers. The process for making pie dough is simple and easy and can even be done by machine if you're making it in bulk. Before you begin to make the dough, gather your ingredients and put them all in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. It may seem strange, but this will ensure that the dough will stay cool during the mixing process. After your mise en place has cooled, pour the flour and salt into a large bowl. Just whisking the flour and the salt together just to make sure it's evenly incorporated. And we've got our cold butter in small pieces. And we're just going to break it up. Again, about the size of a hazelnut, but coating that cold butter in the flour. This is really what's going to make the pie dough flaky. All right. Create a well in the center. And the ice water goes in. You don't need the ice cubes, so hold those back. You can hold off on some of the water too, in case you don't need it all. So again, just scraping around the side of the bowl and inward. This helps make sure that nothing gets missed on the bottom of the bowl or around the sides of the bowl. We have a pretty shaggy dough right now, which is good. We'll just turn it out onto our bench. Okay. We'll just work it by hand briefly. It's okay for the dough to stick a little bit. You don't want to add so much water that it ends up sticking to the bench or looking soupy. Just press it into a more even rectangle. You can actually still add a little bit more water. Pie dough is pretty forgiving, as a matter of fact, so it's not too late. If you find that you made it and you didn't add enough water at the beginning, when you go to roll it out, you can absolutely add just a small amount of ice water at a time until you get the desired consistency. And then we're going to cover it in plastic wrap tightly. Okay. The main reason for wrapping it in plastic wrap, and I wrap mine twice, is you want to keep the air from getting at your pie dough. Air will dry it out and your pie dough actually might look a little grayish. So we don't want that. So we're going to just keep the air from hitting it. And then we do want to let it rest. 4 hours or overnight is ideal because we want the gluten to rest. If you try to roll out pie dough right after you make it, the gluten is going to you're going to roll it out and it's going to snap back at you. It's almost like a rubber band. It's not going to cooperate. So by allowing it to rest for 4 hours overnight, the gluten has a chance to relax. It'll be much more easy to work with. If you have to make the pie the same day, just allow 4 hours for it to rest. Otherwise, it's just as good to use the next day. Now that the dough is wrapped, we're going to allow it to rest for at least 4 hours. Pie dough should be kept in the fridge or freezer until you're ready to use it. If you want to use it within a couple of days, put it in the fridge. Otherwise, freeze it. If you do freeze it, be sure to slowly thaw the dough by putting it into the refrigerator versus straight into room temperature. Compared to other doughs, pie dough is a much flakier texture. If you want to make the dough even flakier, you can also substitute half the water for an unflavored vodka. Whether you make it extra flaky or not, this dough is easy to make and is the most widely used technique in bake shops and restaurants.